Canada, the history of anti-Black racism is clearly and deeply rooted in colonialism and systemic inequalities. From the legacy of slavery to the ongoing struggles for equality, Black people have faced significant challenges.
Slavery was institutionalized for nearly 200 years under French and British colonial rule. The transatlantic slave trade brought to the Americas, leaving millions of Africans who had to suffer from extreme brutality and systemic oppression. Although slavery was abolished in 1834 with the Act on the Abolition of Slavery in the British Empire, the legacies of segregation and systemic racism continue to affect Black communities in Canada to this day.
In the 20th century, after Jim Crow laws and violent persecution in the US, approximately 1,000 Black settlers migrated to Alberta and Saskatchewan. Despite their contributions, they still encountered systemic racism, including government measures to discourage further immigration. For example, the Immigration Act of 1910 prohibited the immigration of those who were declared unsuited to the climate or requirements of Canada, a way to effectively block most non-white immigrants.
In Canada today, anti-Black racism is persisting, but not so much as systemic racism. It has taken a new form, the democratic racism. According to Henry and Tater, democratic racism is the ideology in which two conflicting sets of values are made congruent to each other. This means that commitments to democratic principles, such as justice, equality, and fairness conflict, but coexist with attitudes and behaviors that include negative feelings about minority groups.
This form of racism is expressed and impacts Black people in many fields and ways, such as earning inequalities in the workplace, disinformation in immigration, and even mistreatment in sports and education.
We know that African Canadians in the mid-19th century had to fight against segregation after the Common School Act of 1850 permitted the creation of separate schools for Black students. This law excluded Black people from public education, refusing them equal treatment and opportunities.
Since that time, despite huge institutional improvements, Maynard observed that Black students are not only treated as if they are inferior, but also frequently treated as if they are a threat inside education settings.
In the Canadian education system, disparities are still evident. As Funke Adejebi explained in 2021, Black students are often underrepresented in academic streams and in gifted programming, while they are overrepresented in basic level programming with higher dropout rates. For instance, Black students in Ontario are twice as likely to drop out compared to their peers.
In universities, even though it should be a safe learning environment for every student, anti-Black racism exists and expresses itself in various ways. As Robin Maynard highlighted in The Walrus, written in 2022, for many Black youth, schools can be places of degradation, harm, and psychological violence.
In order to prove that Black people are discriminated against and still suffer from racism, we ask students from the University of Calgary to tell us their own stories and experiences connected to anti-Black racism. It is a way for us to raise awareness and propose ways to tackle anti-Black racism in a country and in settings that still promote and permit discrimination and violence.
There was this one incident when I was about 11 years old. My dad and I had to went to the store to grab some snacks. I remember standing in the aisle and scoping out all the options when an employee came up and started staring at me. Initially, I tried to ignore his gaze, but as we proceeded to go from aisle to aisle, it was evident that we were being followed. The area we were in was predominantly white, and simply being there felt pretty unwelcoming.
Back in grade 1, one of my classmates called me the N-word. I didn't know what it meant then, but I remember being confused and thinking it was a really bad thing. Years later, he would also call me a dirty monkey as a joke for a year, which left me upset.
One time, a student stole an item in my junior high class and the teacher labeled me as one of the suspects. And when asked why, her only reason was that I had a suspicious appearance.
In high school, I started a Black Student Association club because a bunch of kids in my high school have experienced it. For example, being in the library, a librarian will come up to us and think my friends were being loud, even though we were the only group doing work. It's hard being black in high school when you're the minority.
Systemic racism is real. I was unwanted in a marching band that had little to no black representation. I was the only black female for years. People would talk more than me, but I was always looked down. People dismissed my words. They had literally one black instructor. They haven't had black female members since I left, but they still use my face for recruitment posters like a diversity one. I only realized when I left.
As an international student, racism and discrimination is not something I have been taught or to look out for. And so while I was shopping in Market Mall with my friend, well, who is also black, I didn't understand what she meant when she said we are being followed. I was just excited to buy all this new candy. After checkout, a worker stopped us and said we had stolen. Naturally, I was like, no, we didn't, and showed my receipt. But then the worker insisted that she saw us pack something we hadn't. I was ready to fight, but my friend immediately just apologized. But we didn't do anything. She explained that they don't care.
I was coming home from church one day, and as I got on the train, an Asian boy, about 5 to 7 years, also got on the train with his mom and started pointing and laughing at me. I was the only black person on the train, and I was confused as to what was so funny. This mom did nothing to stop her son from pointing and laughing at a stranger. I didn't do anything except acting like I didn't see them. I did nothing to be funny, so I was very confused.
In elementary school, kids being kids saying racist things. As the only black girl at the time, this made me feel rage and sadness as I thought, how could people be so mean? It also felt lonely being the only black girl in elementary growing up.
Well, a kid in my high school, who was visibly white, came up to me and my friend and just straight up said the N-word, then walked away laughing with his friends. Our school has predominantly white demographics, so as shocked as we felt, we both hadn't necessarily felt as hurt because of this being something we expected since we are one of the few black individuals attending. Rather than calling this individual out, we both just turned around with our jaws dropped and watched as he walked away laughing and had a debrief on our own afterwards.
I was walking with one of my friends. She's not black, however, she's a person of color. And one kid, who we had an option class with, had called me a slave and told me to get back to cutting meat. I still don't understand the reasoning behind that part. One of our guidance counselors had been directly behind me and without a doubt heard him, which was clear to me since other students that were stood farther away turned their heads in shock from hearing him. I had not felt hurt over the words said to me, necessarily, as it was expected since he has said worse to others, but I was definitely hurt about the fact that this guidance counselor heard and did absolutely nothing about it. I understand that these words aren't offensive towards her personally, she's also white. However, I did hope that as a staff member individual in a leadership role, she would have at least said something. As for my own reaction, I dismissed him by asking him to shut his mouth.
During Bermuda Shorts Day, BSD, festival in 2018, which is hosted by the University of Calgary, a group of friends and myself were walking throughout the main house party areas on a residential street adjacent to the university. A police officer approached my group and I and looked at us and said, "You guys don't even look like you go to university. You're just here to sell." Everyone in that group was a university student. They assumed we were there to sell drugs.
Some individuals aren't that nice to black women, and I've been in the center of anti-black jokes, being in a predominantly white school.
Once when I was on a bus, this guy mixed me up with another black guy from a movie, and he said he wishes he had a black friend and walked away. I was just silent.
Someone I knew just used the N-word, hard R at a mall. That made me feel really uncomfortable. It is kind of awkward, and I didn't know how to react.
I have been excluded from friends groups just
I've
based on
gone
the
in
color of
many
my skin.
I can't see you in the dark jokes.
Well, there's a
that I
lot of
honestly
micro
don't find
and
funny.
macroaggression stories made.
In elementary school,
Well, I have
kids
gotten
being
many
kids
obnoxious
saying
Since
racist
people are
things.
too
Some
young,
As
people
a
are
black
black
man,
and to birth the rest
and I've been in the center of an
I
entire
think that's
Planks in Marietta, there's stains in your streets. Planks in Marietta, your days grow long. They echo on your sidewalk and roll off your tongue. Planks in Marietta, planks in Marietta, is change gonna come? Planks in Marietta, is change gonna come? Is change gonna come? Is change gonna come? Thanks in Marietta. Thanks in Marietta.
These stories come from Black people in our own community. Anti-Black racism affects Black individuals at any point in their lives.
This is not an issue that is beyond ourselves. It is happening here and now.
According to our respondents, 85% have never witnessed or experienced actions that felt like genuine support against anti-Black racism. We cannot allow this to be our reality. We need change.
We need to push for more awareness and education about anti-Black racism in all factions of life. We cannot allow ourselves to become desensitized to the normalization of anti-Black racism in our country and around the world.
Some of our respondents claimed that anti-Black racism doesn't exist, or that their experiences with anti-Black racism were not severe or aggressive enough to be significant.
Despite our efforts to push for more awareness of anti-Black racism in Canada, there is still so much room for improvement for people to understand that anti-Black racism is a real and prevalent issue, and that anti-Black racism doesn't have to be aggressive to be worthy of attention.
We need to push for more education on anti-Black racism for everyone: students, teachers, parents, and more. There is still so much education to be done to inform individuals on the forms that anti-Black racism exists today and how we can better support Black individuals in our communities.
Regardless of our backgrounds and current knowledge, there's always more we can learn.
This may include the implementation of more Black perspectives and histories into the curriculums and news, pushing for equal opportunities for Black workers in both wages and supports, and deconstructing the systemic racism that is built into the current systems through further research and attention to the issues that Black individuals face on a day-to-day basis.
Education is a double-barreled shotgun, and we have to use it wisely. Our solution comes from a broken system we are trying to change. This doesn't render it useless, but makes it delicate and needs to be taken care of. It is fragile, yet helpful.
The biggest barrier in the modern world we have to fight against for anti-Black racism education is misinformation and disinformation. In the age of technology and artificial intelligence, propaganda and fake news is rife.
Anyone can post anything online, which means anything can be shared regardless of its accuracy, including harmful ideologies and racism. We need to fight against these forms of disinformation and teaching individuals how to evaluate the information they engage with.
Most of all, we need to take the time to listen and raise up Black voices. Their stories matter, and we need to uplift them.
Consistency with our actions, reflections, and continuous drive and passion will give us a chance to create change. And with education paired with our voice, we can ensure that no truth remains unspoken.
Freedom, freedom, I can't move. Freedom, cut me loose. That's when burning to flames. Freedom, freedom, I can't move. Freedom, cut me loose. Yeah. Freedom, freedom, where are you? 'Cause I need freedom too. I break chains all by myself. Won't let my freedom rot in hell. Hey, I'ma keep on running 'cause the winner don't quit on themselves.
Ten Hail Marys, I meditate for practice. Channel 9 News tell me I'm moving backwards. 8 blacks left, death is around the corner. 7 misleading statements about my persona. 6 headlights waving in my direction. Come on. 5-0 asking me what's in my possession. Yeah, I keep running, jumping the aqueducts, fire hydrants and hazardous smoke alarms on the back of us. But mama, don't cry for me, ride for me, try for me, live for me, breathe for me, sing for me. Honestly, guiding me, I can be more than I gotta be. Stole from me, lied to me, nation hypocrisy, code on me, driving me wicked. My spirit inspired me like yeah. Open correctional gates in high desert. Yeah. Open our mind as we cast away oppression. Open the streets and watch our beliefs. And when they carve my name inside the concrete, I pray it forever reads.
Freedom, freedom, I can't move. Freedom, cut me loose. Yeah. Freedom, freedom, where are you? 'Cause I need freedom too. I break chains all by myself. Won't let my freedom rot in hell. Hey, I'ma keep on running 'cause